Hey YouTube. So far so good, guys. I'm experimenting with my neutral position of the flaps, because as you can probably imagine, there's the deployment, then there's the emergency reverse thrust setting that doesn't really do much, and then there's the takeoff setting, which seems to be the most popular for me. And I think part of it is that I'm just maybe going a little bit too aggressive on this. That'd be good for braking, but like really I need some happy medium in there so I can produce a little bit more lift and a little bit less drag. The other thing is this canoe gets so low to the ground, it's pretty easy to hit. But the thing is, I can also adjust my neutral position, and what I'll do is I'll actually do that real quick for you. I'm going to go down to flap system. So I'm in flap system, and then you can see this -20. Now watch the -20. Now watch this is going up. See? No, do the video shot from this angle, right here. Okay, so you guys can see that, how it's going up and down. So that's just whatever neutral setting. So like if I wanted to dial in flaps all the time, I could do that. And that'd be right there, 0. So, and believe me, 0 doesn't mean anything. It's just wherever I glued it, you know. So where I was running it initially was -25. That last flight I did on -20, which just didn't seem to make that big of a difference. But what I'm actually thinking about doing is running them up close to 50. -50, probably -45 because it gets into the chatter. And what you can see is that keeps the wing a little bit more flat, especially up against the spoilers. And what that does is it lifts the spoiler, but then there's nowhere for it to go, which I don't know if that's going to improve my chances at good flying characteristics or if it's going to do nothing. It's probably going to be toward the area of doing nothing. But at this point, the cool thing is about when you do these mods is you get to play around with the settings and find the stuff that works best for your application. And sometimes part of it is you get your trim set with it in this position for regular normal flight mode. And then when you go to your takeoff flaps give you a little bit more impact. And then your landing flaps give you proportionately more impact then. So when you're coming in, you might get a little bit more flare or a little bit more, you know, shift like this. The other thing too is I've been thinking this week about my leading edge slats and how I'm going to accomplish that, especially since I put the servo here, which is hidden in here really good. And by the way, that little goop, that is just hot glue, and this is just dirty from the other day. I just wiped right off. But that's hot glue, and then it's all been painted, of course, to match. I just scored up the bottom with a knife and then hot glued it in. And what you can do is you cut your pocket really tight so it just about holds it in place anyway, and you just use the hot glue and just lick it and wipe it real quick. And it just keeps it in there, so that way I can peel this off without damaging the EPO, and then I can replace the servo if I'd have a problem. By the way, you hear that buzz? That's the other thing, is I think I went a little bit too far on the -45. There, 40 does it. Okay, 40 stops it from buzzing. So that's the other thing you gotta be careful about, is because the servo buzz, even though these are Metal Gear servos, you're not gonna damage the gearing. What you're gonna do is you're gonna overheat the motor, and you're gonna kill the motor. The other thing you're gonna do is potentially overdrive your ESC or your BEC. In this case, this plane has a BEC, which is basically an external ESC that's not included. It's a UBEC, which is separate from a BEC that's in a speed control, because there's 2 speed controls. And incidentally, weird thing about this plane, the ESCs are right here and right here, which I just thought that's totally a bizarre place. If you can get a shot of that, they're right there. And so if you wanted to like insulate and make them hotter than they have to be, that's where you'd put them. So honestly, like I said, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this plane, other than, you know, like I crashed it a couple of times. But I would say that putting the ESCs like in this would be phenomenal, because then first of all, you only have 2 wires going out instead of 3, and then second of all, which saves on weight, and then second of all, you get the cooling effect. Because these nacelles they don't have the little superficial end on them anyway, because of the way the motor is. So you can see this motor. This is supposed to come with a styrofoam piece that actually sticks onto the end of the motor, and it sticks out the end. So I had to make my own, and it's just a display part, but they forgot to ship it with my plane, so I'm not sure why, and I didn't feel like trying to explain that to the Chinese people, because, you know, when you write the word thanks, THX, and you think that's really the way it's spelled, then you're not going to get that through to them anyway. So guys, love the plane, beautiful night for flying. except for we got a little bit of wind. So we're going to do another flight here in a minute, see if we can get a little better luck, see if maybe that adjustment to 40 makes any improvement. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.